So today I'm out here with my sheep. I thought I would give y'all a little tour of the farm and show y'all what we've got going on this year. So we raise Katahdins. These are hair sheep. They grow a hair coat in the winter and fall, and then they just shed it off in the spring and summer. So you don't have to shear them like you do with wool sheep. They are really good for meat, and you can milk them as well, but we just primarily raise ours for meat and to sell the babies. So this is one of our grown ewes here. She's hanging out with me. We've got some of our lambs under there. We've got some more lambs over here. We practice a rotational grazing system, and so we have these net fences and we move them about every 2 days. And we also have this portable shelter here that we made, and that just helps the sheep have fresh grass every couple days. It helps fertilize the soil, and that way it makes our pastures better. And it also helps with parasite, so that our animals can be healthier and not have as many parasites because they're not sitting in the same area for too long. So you can see over there several of our lambs and their mamas just hanging out, and they've just been moved to this pasture today, so got a lot of good grass to eat. We've had a ton of rain here, so there's lots of pasture for them to eat right now. So this is our garden area. We practice a no-till gardening system, and we're hoping back behind there to plant some fruit trees and stuff eventually and have kind of a full orchard. This is our blueberry patch here. So we've got several blueberry bushes planted, and then we also have raspberries over there behind them. So I'm not super thrilled with how the garden is doing this year. We've just had a lot of setbacks with it. We're having torrential rainstorms this year that'll come through and wash a lot of stuff out. This soil was pretty poor to begin with. I wanted to add a lot of amendments to it over the winter, but I just didn't get to doing that, and so it really needs to have more compost and stuff added to it. So I'm going to try to make some compost over the summer and potentially bring some in to kind of help this soil get a little bit better. But you can see we've got corn here. There's some beans over there, but most of it is just doing fairly poorly, and it's kind of a discouragement because usually you work fairly hard in the garden and it could still take off and do pretty well. This is actually just a volunteer from last year. Volunteers tend to do better. That's some type of pumpkin. So we've got a few more over here, pumpkins, and so it's actually been a lot cooler than it normally is too, so we may have some stuff pick up. And we've got a lot of weeding to do, so there's definitely a lot of weeding we got to work on. And but I got my arches put in. Love having these arches so that we can put beans and stuff like that on them. And I've had to re-sow my peas and beans a couple times this year because they've gotten washed out. Lots of weeds over here, so I'm just kind of putting some cardboard over those to kind of help it. I actually planted potatoes in here, so I had to dig up a few little spots, and they just didn't come up, and I've never had that happen, so I don't know if they just rotted in the soil or what happened, but definitely gonna have to work on this area. I've got some tomatoes here, and like I said, they're just growing super slow. So I don't use a lot of chemical fertilizers and stuff. I do like to put some fish emulsion on there, and I think if I had been doing that regularly, it probably would have helped a little bit more. I've got a nice tomato plant here, so this is kind of one of the best things in the garden. It's doing fairly well. I've got some cucumbers on the other side there, and then so coming over here, since this area was supposed to be potatoes and they didn't come up, I was going to grow some more melons and pumpkins, but I started these up at the porch and they're just not taking off. So definitely going to have to just do some work on my soil and different things here. So my strawberries are doing really good at getting established. I planted these in the fall, and so they have set a fair amount of fruit, but like I said, with all the rain we've gotten, it's kind of made them watery and mushy, so we just haven't gotten a super great harvest this year. I have made a couple small jars of jam, but they've basically already gotten eaten. And then this is very unusual. I don't know if it was my seeds or what, But I planted sunflowers, and these are like the smallest sunflowers I've ever had planted. So I don't know what's going on with that. That one's really pretty, but because they're normally so much bigger than this. But yeah, at least they're growing and coming up. I actually started those indoors, and that worked pretty good. We do have some rabbits here, so and we've got a lot of roly-polies and things like that, so sometimes the seeds get eaten before they come up. There's a pretty yellow sunflower. So this is kind of one of those projects that's a work in progress, like everything. I'm just hoping that we can work on it this year, and possibly next year, even in the fall, everything will be a little bit better. So over here we have a few herbs. This is oregano, and I've already actually harvested this a couple times this year and dried it so I can use it in cooking. And this is spearmint. I like to make tea out of that and drink it, and so I've actually harvested that a couple times already too, and it smells so good. And then over here we've got some red raspberries, and they're just kind of getting established this year. They look like they're going to put off a little bit of fruit this summer, and then they might actually put off some more fruit in the fall, so we'll kind of see. This is a purple raspberry, and it has been putting off some fruit enough for us to try, and it's been really good. If you get the raspberries when they're really ripe, they taste like candy, so they're really good. Here's some more of the purple raspberries. So you can see the red ones are not quite ripe yet, and then they turn dark purple when they get nice and ripe. And then over here we have our blueberries. So look at that nice fat blueberry there. We need to pick these today. We haven't picked them. We picked them yesterday, and there's already some more that are ready today. So we have several different varieties here. I can't remember the names of all of them, but we've got an O'Neill and Legacy, I think, and Blue Crop. So then we have this pink lemonade blueberry, and I just love this blueberry. It's just so good. It actually has a lemonade taste to it, and you know they're ripe because they get dark pink like this. So they're really fun to have, just a little bit something different. It's kind of got a different flavor to it, and we really enjoy those. So I've got a whole row of these pink lemonade blueberries, and then all the rest are the blue ones. So I think it's going to be really nice when they all get big and have the blueberries on them. We'll have this one row of all pink ones, and then you'll have several other rows of blueberries. There's a nice blue one right there. So these blueberry bushes are about 2.5 years old, most of them, and so it's taken a little while to get established, but they're really coming along. The last 2 years we've had droughts in the fall, and that's kind of hurt them, but they're doing really good right now, and I think next year we're going to get a really good harvest off of them. So this is something brand new for us. We just got our first hive of bees. We had someone give us a swarm of bees, and Shane has always wanted to raise bees, and so this has been really fun and exciting, and we are really excited to get to learn more about them and hopefully be able to harvest some of our own honey one day. Like I said, it's a whole new learning curve. We have a good mentor, so that's really exciting to have somebody that wants to teach us about it, and we want to learn, and we're hoping that it'll be really good to help pollinate our plants and our garden, and that they can kind of work together in that relationship. So it's going to be really fun to watch in the future, and hopefully to get lots of honey that we can eat. So here we have some chicks that are a couple weeks old. We hatched these, a few of them we hatched in our incubator, and then a few of them our broody hen sat on and hatched. So you can kind of see they're starting to get their feathers because they're a few weeks old, and they're so cute. These are some of our chickens. This is a speckled Sussex. We call her the grandma chicken. We've had her for about 7 years. We got her from my mom. My mom had her for a couple years, so she's about 9 years old, and she still lays eggs, and we're still able to incubate some of those eggs and hatch them out. So that's been really cool to keep her line going. I think she's so pretty. You can see we've got a bunch of ladies in there laying some eggs. So these are some of our cooney pigs. We are raising these 3 up for meat, and we should be able to take them to the processor soon. They take a little bit longer to raise out, but they can eat grass and stuff. They're a pasture pig, and their meat is really good. So. Being loud today. And these are our rams. So this is a wether on the right, and on the left this is going to be our breeding ram for next year. So we have them separated until about August, and then we'll put them in there with the females. So we've got them hanging out in here together because sheep are herding animals and they do not like to be alone. They get sad and depressed, and so it's good for them to have a buddy to hang out with them. So this is one of our roosters. This is a lavender Easter egger rooster. And this is our mama pig with her little babies. This is Lucy. She had 9 babies this time. One of them didn't make it, but you see we got all different colors here. They're about 3 or 4 weeks old right now. We just had a rainstorm, so it is very muddy out here right now. And then we have some ducks out here. My brother gave us some ducks. He raises them. This is the male duck, the drake, and then here is some of the female ducks. And we just had some of these hatch out this year, so they're new. They laid some eggs and hatched them themselves. She's fussing at him. We have a little pond, and so once we get that fenced in, we'll put the ducks around the pond. Some more of our roosters. Being quiet today. They're normally really loud. And this is our male pig. This is Ricky, and he's a big boy. He likes to be a troublemaker and tries to bend up the fences and get out and make messes. So I think we got him contained right now, but yeah, he's a mess. So he's been a good boy though. You been a good boy? You can see the coonies have these short snouts, and so it helps because they don't dig up and root as much. Now they will root some. You can see he's made him a little wallow there that he can wallow around in, but they don't root near as bad as other pigs do, so you don't have to worry about them tearing as much stuff up. These laying hens have been doing a good job this year. We've been getting lots of eggs and being able to sell them to kind of help with some of the price of feed, so that's been really good.